Let's look at the Cardinals graphic here. Win-loss prediction time. Johnny, Bo, Craig, and Damon. Who do we like? Who do we like? Well, if you like fading me, not a good week for this show, Bo. It's not looking good on the prediction front. Bo, I'm going to start with you. That's the grossest prediction I have seen thus far this year.
I don't want to watch that game.
Well, what have we discussed all day long, right? I mean, this is what the Chargers want it to be. They want it to be gross, just hard-nosed football, a lot of defense being played, air being taken out of the ball in the run game, just 17-16 grinded out. And I've reached the point now after getting bitten by the Cardinals by predicting them to win that I can't confidently do that week in and week out. So until they prove me wrong, I'm going to pick with the opposing team, and it starts this week with the Chargers. I think that they get this done on Monday night. I'd love for the Cardinals to prove me wrong, but until that happens, I'm picking the Chargers, the Bolts in their baby blues.
Who's up?
Well, I think everybody who's on the loser train should talk first. Craig, you're up next, my friend.
I'll go. I was pretty surprised to see my prediction of a low-scoring game won up by Bo and Damon, but I do think points will be at a premium in this game. We've already talked about how stout LA's defense is, but they haven't scored a lot of points. Keep this in mind, by the way. The Chargers have scored a combined 3 points in the second halves of the past 3 games, and they're averaging a league low 5 points per game in the second half. So if the Cardinals have a lead at the half, you might want to feel good about that. I don't like the way they
scored in the fourth quarter.
Huh?
I don't think they've even scored in the fourth quarter.
They've been utterly just brutal in the second half. Part of that might be, in some games maybe they're sitting on it. I don't. They just, I was talking to you talked about outside the nest and how they've closed out games well. I'm not so sure if you're not scoring in the second half. If you're closing out games, you probably want to punctuate that a little better. But I don't like the way the Cardinals match up against this physical football team. The reality of a 2-5 start is a really tough one, but I think injuries have eliminated whatever slim depth the Cardinals had. I think the rebuild moves into year 3 under Monty Austin-Fort, who, again, may someday enlighten us as to his rebuild philosophy.
We'll keep it going here. I'm keeping it low scoring because I just think this game plays into the Chargers' hands, how they want to play it. I haven't liked what I saw from the Cardinals offense the last couple of weeks, and this is kind of par for the course when it comes to that. So I think the Chargers win in a 3-point game here. They don't score a lot, but they, like we've talked about, they keep the opposing team's offense in front of them, and they limit the big plays, and they'll just continue to run the football. So I'm going 21-18 Chargers here.
I'd like to be taken onto the screen to speak my piece here. And I would love to believe, not a one shot. Bring everybody back in here.
Do we have piano music? Come on.
I'm speaking directly into the camera, and I'm speaking not only to the 600 people watching live on a Football Friday. By the way, we appreciate you all. Like this video. Drop us a like. Leave a comment down below. I'm speaking to Monty Austin-Fort and Jonathan Gannon. This is a very much a first and last impression for you with Arizona Cardinal fans, this media market, and the national audience. You can become irrelevant very fast if you lose this game. And I think you're going to have a lot more questions than answers. I don't care what the rest of the schedule looks like the rest of this year. You drop a nationally televised game in an embarrassing fashion, you are going to lose an immense amount of trust from this community. You already got railroaded by Cliff Kingsbury. You have had 2 blowouts in the past 3 games, and you did not show the sense of urgency where, unfortunately, a lot of us saw some of these robust outcomes coming. But you have an opportunity here on Monday Night Football to say, you know what? We don't care about the state of the roster. We're not here to make excuses. We're going to make enough plays. We're going to motivate our team to come out and put on, most importantly, a good showing for our fans, because the Charger fans do not travel well. A lot of Cardinal fans have had this game circled throughout the course of the offseason. It's immense prideful to have a nationally televised game, albeit on ESPN+. Go out there and win this game for the people of Arizona and your fan base beyond just this state. Because I do feel like, Craig, I know you've alluded to it on the show, I feel like if you lose this game, it's going to be very difficult to rebuild trust with this fan base. And I hate that. I host a daily show with my co-host here, Bo Brock, and we talk Cardinals every day, almost 365 days a year. But like, I'm not going to tell people, hey, this is exactly where they need to be. I know there's a lot of that going around right now. You can't sell 2-5 to people as a realistic option in year 2. You just can't. So they need to win this game. Like I hope they feel the sense of urgency because it's real to all of us.
I'm going to defend you on that side of the ball. Actually, I do think that there's going to be a sense of urgency, and I think that's going to help them maybe produce a little more on offense than you might expect against this really good defense, which I think the Steelers are the only team that's reached 20 points against the Chargers this season.
Yeah,
I do think we'll see it there. I don't have enough faith that the defense can get enough done with what we've seen already this season, but then with the losses that they've suffered, I just don't see it happening. It's tough to say. I mean, I do think this is going to be a close game. I think the Cardinals will play their hearts out in this one. I do think we'll see urgency. I just don't have a lot of faith that they can come out on the winning end.
There are a lot of ascending players on this roster. There are a lot of guys that we like throughout the draft process that this team should be excited about, and you want them to be on full display on Monday night, and people not look at this game and like, well, where are the building blocks for this Cardinals rebuild? Like, they need to be showcased, and it starts with Marvin Harrison Jr. And if you can get him going on prime time, and I love throwing out the disclaimer like ESPN Plus. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is your opportunity. This is the cards that you've been dealt, and this is because of the irrelevancy, dating back to 2022, actually being on a primetime stage and embarrassing yourself. Actually, another international incident, Mexico City. It was unfortunate. The NFL was rightly to take and strip you of that last season, and this is your chance to get back in. This is you putting your foot in the door, and now you can kick it in a little bit with a good performance, and maybe be on the actual primetime schedule next year. And that it just goes to Johnny's point, and Craig echoed that. I mean, it's time for this team and this offense to show up and put up points, even though, the statistics prove that the Chargers have a really good defense and the Cardinals offense isn't playing well. You have to buck those trends come Monday night, because otherwise you are what your record is. And it's another year where this is a Chicago sports fan. Like, what is it? Next year, right? It's next year's the year.
We all silly like the mayor.